Hello readers, I'm Amy and I'm your nonfiction feminist, and today I am bringing you the Halloween song book tag. I was tagged for this tag by Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books. She made the book tag herself. Super proud of her. This is super fun. I will say though, she should have included the Monster Mash, because that is like the best Halloween song. But anyways, let's get on with the amazing Halloween song tag. I will also link the Spotify playlist down below that she included with her video. Like, that's some dedication. That's amazing. And yeah, just should have had the Monster Mash. Okay, first question, Thriller. A book that was an absolute page turner. For this, I'm going to say No Exit. I read it just last month. It's a thriller. Not that I have to use a thriller for this answer. I just happen to be using a thriller. But it's one of those where the characters are secluded in a specific spot that they can't escape from. I think that's an amazing thriller trope. And in this one, you have 4 people trapped at a gas station. One of them goes outside to try and find cell service, and she sees something in the back of one of the cars, and then the action just gets going. Like, it had me guessing and guessing and guessing, and by the end of it, I'm like, oh, I know how this is gonna turn out. And then in the last couple sentences, it still manages to switch it around on me. So this was awesome. It was a page turner. I finished it in like a day or two, which is pretty decent for me. So, next one, Somebody's Watching Me, a book that gave you the serious creeps. This one, I really wanted to just go with the Stephen King book because there's, been some pretty creepy Stephen King books. I thought about doing Misery because you have a character in that that's really creepy. I thought about doing Needful Things where we've got the mysterious storekeeper, and I ended up settling on The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. This is a survival thriller. You have a girl who kind of breaks off from her mom and I think it's her brother, to go take care of her business in the woods, and she can't find the path. So she ends up lost in the forest for a certain period of time, and you're following her in the forest as she's trying to figure out how to get home. And it's called The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon because this girl is crazy about baseball, specifically, well, jeez, it's on the title. Specifically, Tom Gordon, the baseball player. It's on the cover. Like, I feel ridiculous. Anyways, she has her Walkman with her, and the battery's only going to last so long, but she's using what battery she has to listen to Tom Gordon playing baseball, just as something to keep her company while she's trying to figure out where in the world she is and how to get out. In this book, you have kind of this thing that you feel like is following her around, maybe, or like it's a Stephen King thing, but it was really good. I don't think it's his best, but it's one of his shortest, which is the reason that I had picked it up in the first place, and I really did enjoy this one. I want to read more survival stuff. I think that's a trope that I'm really gonna like when I get more into thrillers and horror, which I'm slowly getting more into. Next question. Vampire, which I love vampires. Not shiny vampires, but like classic vampires. A book you hated so much it was soul-sucking, i.e. incredibly tedious to get through. That would be The Only Child. This is an advanced reader's copy that I got from NetGalley recently, and I skim read through it because I just didn't care. I was bored. I didn't care about any of the characters. I usually cannot predict anything in a storyline, and this book was incredibly predictable, so that tells you something. I feel kind of bad that I gave 1 star to a book that isn't even released yet, but also I can't let myself feel bad. It's my own opinion, and I hated that book and it sucked my soul out. Kind of like my cats. Next one, I Put a Spell on You. A book featuring witchcraft or magic. For this, I have Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I will say I liked the movie better. However, the book is very good. I really enjoyed the writing style. It just wasn't as plot heavy as I usually go for. It is more of a character driven book, but I did really, really enjoy it. I just liked the movie a little bit better. I also really enjoyed the sequel, The Rules of Magic, which has, and you might not be able to see it in this exposure, but it's got like these shiny kind of gold flecks on the cover, and this cover is absolutely gorgeous. One of the prettiest books I own. But they're both about magic. This one focuses on the aunts, this one focuses on the nieces, which you should know because hopefully you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, go watch it right now. It's fantastic. So yeah. Then, this Halloween, your favorite treat or snack to eat while reading. I seem to not be able to not eat while I read. Like, if I'm reading, then I'm probably snacking on something. The two just kind of go together for me. I'll drink tea,
I'll eat pretzels, I'll have chips, I'll have a sandwich, I'll have breakfast. Like, I read at work on my overnight, so I have it with my lunch or dinner or midnight snack, depending on how you want to look at that. I have it with my breakfast/dinner when I get home in the morning, like I did 30 minutes ago.
I eat anything and everything that I can eat while I read books. They just, kind of like you're always snacking on something while you're watching TV, I'm always snacking on something when I'm reading a book. There's really nothing super specific to answer for this. Time Warp. Let's do the Time Warp again, which is a great song. All of the Rocky Horror songs are great songs. What book or books do you like to return to at this time of year? If you know me but at all, did you really expect me to answer with anything else? Well, maybe Jurassic Park, because that's my other favorite book. But Dracula, which hopefully I'm going to get to this month, but I just got a new book in the mail, and it's calling my name, and I really want to drop all of my October books right now to go and read it, but I'm going to try to not do that, because I really do need to get back into Dracula. I like to read it at least once a year. It is one of my top 2 favorite books ever in the world. This isn't the most popular classic among people. Particularly on BookTube, I hear people a lot of times saying that they don't really enjoy this because Dracula isn't really featured in Dracula that much, which is true, but I like to think of it as when Hermione was talking about Voldemort in Harry Potter, where fear of a name, something about fear of itself, and I'm a Harry Potter nerd, so I shouldn't be blanking on this, but if the character isn't there, it kind of makes you more afraid of them. And I feel like Dracula is kind of along those same lines, where a lot of the characters don't really meet Dracula until the end, but that doesn't mean that they're not interacting with him or involved in his devious plans, and that kind of just builds the fear of it. So I absolutely loved this book. This is my favorite classic ever, ever, ever in the world, and you should go read it right now. Hungry Like the Wolf. Nicole, you have really great taste. I'm just going to say that. You have great taste in songs. A book you loved so much, you devoured. For this, I'm going to do another advanced reader's copy that I just finished reading like a couple of days ago, and that is Cam Girl by Isa Mazzy, I think is her last name. It's a memoir about a girl, like, kind of, she grows up and then she ends up doing camming, and it's just kind of, it really delves into the camming life, and it gets pretty sexually explicit, but that said, it's a really, really good read. I wasn't sure how she was going to be able to wrap it all up in the end, but get to the end of it, it was really fantastic. She had a lot to say, and even though I was kind of undecided on it for a little bit, I still just couldn't help myself. I had to keep reading. I couldn't go to bed. I had to keep on reading and see what was going to happen next, and what's she going to do, and where is this going now? Like, not able to put it down until I finished it. Absolutely loved it. This was definitely a book I devoured. The Addams Family. A book featuring a dysfunctional family. That would definitely be Towelhead by Alicia Arian. I have a review that I will link either up here or up here. I want to say up here, but I'm not entirely sure on the mirroring thing. with my camera. But anyways, Towelhead, main character's parents are divorced. They're always after each other. They're always after the daughter. They blame her for everything. And it's super, super intense. And before you think about reading this book, just because I loved it, definitely watch my review of it first. This book is not for everyone, but it is very dysfunctional. Basically, it's a sexual coming of age for a girl who is 13, dealing with her parents and her neighbors and living in a new house and going to a new school, and there's just a lot that goes on in here. Not an easy read, but one of my tops for this year, for sure. Scary monsters and super creeps. A book genre that you were scared or intimidated to pick up. There's not a lot that I'm really scared to read. Like, there's a lot that I don't love to read, but that I have books in those genres that I love, which is why I did my I Don't Read That series, which I will also link some of those above. But lately, I think I've been intimidated most by history. I have a couple of history books. The main one that I want to get to is The Witches, where it talks about suspicion, betrayal, and hysteria in 1692 Salem. I really love reading and learning about the Salem witch trials. It was a really interesting period in life, but I started this once, and I was in kind of a slumpy spot, so it's understandable why I wasn't really able to get into it. But history can tend to be a pretty dry genre for me. So I am hoping to get to this soon. I just don't think I'm going to get to it by the end of this year. Because I'm just like, what if it's dry? What if I'm bored? I've been a little off and on slumpy the last couple of months. So I really just, I want to keep my books exciting for the rest of this year. Not that I don't always try and keep my books exciting, but I want to pick the especially exciting books to try and get myself really going again. Lastly, The Twilight Zone, a book with a completely different and unique premise. I think by far this is the most difficult question because what really is unique and original anymore? Everything's kind of been done, but I did end up going with Patrick Süskind's Perfume. I probably butchered his last name, but this story is great. You follow a man from just before he's born to his eventual death. This is most likely going to be my favorite book of this year. Not for sure yet, because we've still got a couple months to go, but I really loved this. This follows a man from birth until his eventual death, and he has a very, very sensitive sense of smell, like the strongest sense of smell. And he ends up apprenticing with a perfume maker, learning how to put different ingredients together to create different scents. He comes up with different human scents for himself, whether he wants people to ignore him or to notice him or to be wary of him. He can create different kind of human scents to give people different impressions of himself. And eventually he goes around murdering women for their smells. This book was just phenomenal. It is a modern classic for a reason. Like I said, this is probably going to be my favorite book of the year. So, that is it for this tag. Thank you again to Nicole for tagging me in the Halloween Song book tag. Here are my reads, not all of which are super creepy. I was thinking that all of these would just be Halloween related, but they're not. But whatever, that's fine. I'm gonna go take care of my cat and watch him play with his new toy. I will see you all in my next one. Bye, friends.